Welcome to the Fray Flak Pack. It's Termex here, and welcome back to another Wonderlands video. Now, in today's Wonderlands video, I do want to talk about the topic of discussion, which is Wonderlands only having a singular skill tree. Now, from hearing all the things about this, I didn't really believe it myself until, quite honestly, the early access people got their footage in, and I read over all these skill trees, and I do have my thoughts and conclusions on why Wonderlands only has a singular skill tree. Now, as a Borderlands fan, and pretty much everyone in the Borderlands community, we have been accustomed to 3 skill trees per playable character, but Wonderlands is switching things up. Wonderlands gives us a single skill tree, and level 40 is our level cap, giving us 39 skill points because we start earning skill points immediately. And I do believe, if I check Twitter, it was either Jolt's dude or somebody else. They did confirm it's either 26 or 29 points to hit a single capstone, and that's honestly not too bad. But you may be wondering, Term, we have a single skill tree, why don't we just fully spec that single skill tree? And you're not wrong, I'm pretty sure that is entirely possible, but the whole subclass system within Wonderlands is kind of here to fix that. Now, within Wonderlands, you do get a subclass once you hit a certain point within the storyline, and with this subclass, you basically get another skill tree, which is just another class's skill tree. Now, for example, I will be using Spore Warden, so I will only get his skill tree exclusively, but once I get my subclass, I will actually get to choose another playable character and get their skill tree as well. I will get Stablemancer as my second skill tree, so if I spec into his tree, my Spore Warden will get those benefits. So basically, it's almost 2 classes in one, but you still only get one ability and you only get one spell, so it's not really a huge merge of the classes, just more or less their perks. And for anybody curious, yes, the passive abilities and passive things on your classes, your class feats is what they are called in Wonderlands, will carry over from your subclass. So if your subclass has a pet companion as their passive ability, you will get said pet companion. And same goes for everything else. Like Stablemancer's class feat is higher crit chance, I do believe, or crit damage. If you choose Stablemancer as your subclass, you will get that damage. And then you may be wondering, how does this prove or disprove anything on why we only got one tree? Well, if you think about it in conclusive math, I'm not good at math, but putting all these numbers together does complicate my little brain, and that is, with all these subclasses, on top of the 6 playable characters, we have a lot of class possibilities at the moment, and we have a lot of different build diversity. Now imagine if we had 3 skill trees per character, per 6 classes. On top of that, you could have a subclass, so you have 6 skill trees on your singular character with only 40 skill points. That wouldn't work. Even then, we would have to have maybe level 70 as the initial, like, launch date level. And at that point, Borderlands, or I should say Wonderlands, is basically an MMO, and we're not really going for an MMO standard here. This is a looter-shooter action RPG. Now, the funny thing is, I always thought if they were going to add DLC, why don't just add more skill trees to the characters? And inherently, that is a great option, but the fact they confirmed that a new class is coming, I think I like a little bit more. A whole new class just provides a lot more replayability and just user fun. And I'm happy they're doing that with Wonderlands. They're bringing back multiple classes. Think about that. They announced 7 classes for this game. That is more classes than any other Borderlands game has had in the history of basically every game. Now, I don't think this is going to ruin the game whatsoever or limit diversity. I do think it might limit diversity in a few ways. Like, if Stablemancer has a great spec, no one else is going to spec him differently because, I mean, the tree is a single tree. There's only so many possibilities you could do within a singular class. But I do think the main differences here are going to be through the subclass system. That's where everyone's going to get their uniqueness and their unique specific builds. But I think that's the goal here. I think another thing that people need to know is this is not Borderlands. I know, it's crazy, but this is not a Borderlands game, and Borderlands isn't in the title. It is a spin-off game named Wonderlands. So I want people haven't really understood that yet. I know a large portion of the community has, and if you haven't understood it, I mean it with all respect, that you have to get it out of your head that this is not a Borderlands title, so we shouldn't be wondering why there's not a lot of Borderlands features, even though there is quite a bit of returning things from the Borderlands franchise. And now one last thing I do want to talk about, because people say it all the time, they're going to say that it limits build diversity, and I know I touched on this just a few minutes ago, but I do want to say, I find it funny how everyone is saying one tree is going to limit diversity, everyone's going to run the same skills. Well, you got to remember in Borderlands 3, Didn't every class do that? Shun me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but if you played Flak in Borderlands 3 and you didn't run Red Tree or Blue Tree, were you even playing Flak? Were you playing Flak? And I guarantee you that in every single character within the Borderlands franchise, if you spec'd down a certain tree, there was always one or two meta skills that everybody ran regardless. Borderlands 2, I know dang well every zero main ran Boar unless you were trying to do a melee build. Even then, people had it on the secondary back burner just so they could one-shot certain bosses. Still don't believe me? What about Maya? I guarantee you had Cloud Kill. It wasn't a great ability early on, but when it got buffed, that was sure a overpowered skill, and everybody in the community used it. So I think in comparison, we're not going to really see any more lack of diversity because we've already had it within the Borderlands franchise. It's nothing new. We know there's going to be those skills. We all know those skills. But other than that, I'm really excited for this system, and overall, I just want to experiment, man. I want to wait for the game to come out on March 25th, have fun with it, do my Spore Warden shenanigans with the bow build that I have planned. And on top of that, guys, I do want to let you know I am going to be posting some Buildcraft videos and some general Wonderlands content in the next few weeks. So if you guys want to stay up to date with me and that, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video because it does help out my channel a lot and spreads my content more out to the Borderlands and Wonderlands community. Consider joining my Discord, link in the description below. It is basically the main hub where all my save files will be, all that stuff for the future of Wonderlands. But you guys have a terrific day, and I will see you guys later.